Well, if you've been subbed to this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a very big fan of old tech. And along the way, I've talked about various home media releases. I've covered Betamax. It's probably for the best if I open this one up actually, as well, this case honestly looks like it's made for VHS, but if you open it up, you can actually see it's specifically made for Betamax. Notice that there's only one head to be able to hold it in place properly. I've talked about Laserdisc. And of course, I've talked about VHS. However, there is one other medium that I have not discussed that much. The capacitance electric disc system. I've also heard some people refer to this as Selectivision. So you're probably wondering what this is. It is a video format that didn't last very long, unfortunately. It was overrun between the great debate of VHS and Betamax, and could not compete with Laserdisc either. It is a rather fascinating bit of technology. So this is also played on a disc, even though it may look like a cartridge. Instead, this is being held in a hard plastic case. Now, ordinarily you're not supposed to be able to do this, but as you can see, it's a little cracked in the corner, so I can actually show you what the disc itself looks like. And if you look closely, there are ridges in it, very similar to a vinyl record. But the difference is, in addition to having audio, it can also show video. And I have finally been able to find a player that can show the wonders of this media. And I want to compare it with The Empire Strikes Back to the VHS counterpart. Now, right away, you would probably make the argument, no wonder why CED didn't go so well. Look at how much less space VHS takes up. But at the same time, you can also see a lot more in the cover art, while here it's a lot more truncated. And also the same on the back. Now, just in case there aren't a lot of people that have seen this, I also want to show what the VHS itself looks like. It's rather fascinating if you go to the early era of VHS, as you will notice that the very top of the cassette is this brownish gray color. Usually, it is all uniform black. That is the familiar look of it. Probably the thing I find so fascinating is that both really want to emphasize how well the sound is. Not only do you have this little red triangle saying it's in hi-fi stereo and digitally mastered, and here we see that it is also in stereo, which, as you can see from my other disc here, was not a standard thing. Probably the first difference to note right away is the runtime. Here, it runs for 120 minutes. And yet on the VHS release, it runs for 124 minutes. So, how in the world is the VHS version 4 minutes longer than the CED version? Well, this medium can only hold so much. And the other big thing to mention as well is if you look, it says side 1. So that is half the movie, and the other half is on side 2. This version plays slightly faster, so it all runs on one disc. Now with some of the other longer releases, like this one, they actually just put it on multiple discs. So for instance, see right here where it says part 2 of 2. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Well, just in case you've never seen a VHS cassette being loaded into a VCR. I have it on right. Gonna have to rewind a little bit. There we go. That ought to do it. Play. And now we load in the CED player. So you'll see that it's flashing L. L stands for load. You'll see that the knob is in the bottom position. That means that it's ready to take the disc. Here we go. So it just slides in. Now the interesting thing is later iterations of this would later be automatic, but this one is a lot more manual. So basically you just have to hit the right notch and then it loads it in. Just hear it click. There you go. And then you take it out. That's how you know you did it right. And then you'll see that the top end is missing. You may have noticed that there were a lot of grooves. That's how it tells you if you're on side 1 or side 2. Okay. So then we flip up the switch here. That's getting the needle into position. And then, this is the weirdest thing. So you'll see that it has load, play, and off. But this one really doesn't make any sense, as when you put it in the off position, that's when it plays. Now as you can see, the video quality isn't as good on CED as opposed to the VHS release. However, with this originally being a media based for audio performance, the audio quality is a fair bit different compared to the VHS quality.
Are the speeders ready?
Not yet. We're having some trouble adapting them to the code.
We'll have to go out on Tom-Tom.
Sir, the temperature's dropping too rapidly.
That's right. My friend's out in it. Are the speeders ready?
Not yet. We're having some trouble adapting them to the code.
We'll have to go out on Tom-Tom.
Sir, the temperature's dropping too rapidly.
That's right. My friend's out in it.
So that's all I've got for this comparison video. Which do you think is the better medium? And also, which of the original trilogy is your favorite of the Star Wars movies? For me, my heart belongs to The Return of the Jedi. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.